breaking news of the day, the terror and fear on the Eastern Shore may be over, all thanks to one overnight fire.
State police say 2 people are now behind bars, a man and a woman, suspected in a majority of nearly 80 fires set in Accomack County since November. 40-year-old Tanya Bundick and 38-year-old Charles R. Smith III, a former firefighter, were picked up less than 30 minutes after an arson late last night. Police say they got them during a traffic stop. Bundick was driving what's believed to be the getaway van. Smith was the passenger, say police. And right now they are only charged in this fire at a small vacant home on Airport Drive in Malfa. But state police say that small fire will lead to a much bigger problem for the two.
10 on your side's McNamara and Andy Fox have been covering the fire since they started, and they've been gathering information all day about this huge development in the investigation. Let's start our team coverage with Andy.
Andy.
Yeah, they're both expected to get charged with the majority of these arsons, according to state police. And what we do know is this, is that when this was all starting to unfold, the police had their eyes on the area. And $25,000 reward was offered, but it was not a tip from the community. It was old-fashioned police work that brought us to this day. Following extensive efforts, Tanya Bundick and Charles Smith III, who uses the alias Charles Applegate, are the ones state police say brought terror to the Eastern Shore. 77 arsons since November. The last one, last night, led to their arrest.
And it was during that investigation last night that we were able to observe the minivan within the vicinity of this fire.
Bundick and Smith were in this van, and according to the arrest warrant, surveillance units observed the van driven by Bundick, drop off Smith, who then set the fire to the vacant building. Bundick then picked up Smith, and then they were stopped by law enforcement.
We are confident that Bundick and Smith are responsible for the majority of the fires set since November 12th of last year.
According to the arrest warrant, Smith gave up the information that Bundick was involved in other fires on the Eastern Shore, implicating himself as well.
Our concern all along was that one of these vacant or abandoned structures may appear on the outside to be vacant, but there may have been somebody inside. So that was one of, obviously, a driving factor for us to make sure that we pursued this case relentlessly with as many resources as we could put forth to it and put a stop to it.
Okay, so now we've arrested 2 arsonists, alleged arsonists. Does that mean it's all over? Does that mean everyone shuts down everything and goes home? What happens if there's another arson tonight? I'll have that part of the story in our continuing 90-minute of coverage tonight coming up at 5:30. I'm Andy Fox, 10 on your side.
State police say this latest fire on Airport Drive in Malfa happened about 13 miles from the suspect's home in Parksley. But from border to border in Accomack County on Route 13, it's about 36 miles, with many of the fires set along the only main road through the county. We have been digging through online records and talking to friends of the 2 suspects.
And as Andy just told you, they were engaged to be married in May, but we wanted to know more about their everyday life, their personalities. Before we go back to Accomack County to 10 on your sides, for that we go back to 10 on your sides and McNamara. Ann.
Well, since these fires have started, we've all wondered who would do this and why. The question of why will take longer to answer, but today we have a much better picture of who, and of particular interest is Charlie Applegate, who used to work for the Parksley Fire Department. Folks on the Eastern Shore knew the arsonist. Folks on the Eastern Shore knew the arsonists would be familiar faces, people who knew the ins and outs of the area, maybe lived here their whole lives, maybe lived right next door.
How surprised are you?
Very, because they're usually home at nights. I don't see them going out 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Kenneth Peters lives next to 40-year-old Tanya Bundick. State police arrested her early this morning. She was driving this gold minivan away from an arson in Malfa.
Pretty shocked. She was a nice girl. I thought a lot of Tanya and her family. I'm very shocked.
Bundick shared her home with fiancé Charlie Applegate, who previously held the rank of captain at the Parksley Fire Department. The couple had 2 children, and neighbors say Bundick and one son were always burning things in these barrels in the backyard. Some labeled it pyromania. Others said it's a common thing to do on the shore.
The only thing they got is a fire barrel back there. That's it. That's the only thing I see them starting fires on is a fire barrel. I mean, that's common around here. I mean, you know, people, they burn sticks and, you know, stuff like that.
Other than that, they kept to themselves. Bundick, who goes by the nickname Toot, sold clothes out of her fiance's paint shop. Applegate split his time between that and his father's auto center across the street. Today, we asked George Applegate if his son set fires.
We understand that your son, Charlie, may be involved with this arson investigation.
I have no comment.
Do you know anything about it?
I have no comment.
Nothing at all?
Nothing.
Do you think it has anything
I
in
have
suspicion?
no comment. Please don't do this.
Meanwhile, neighbors marvel at all the signs they didn't see in their own backyard.
Hindsight's 20/20. I can think of a million things now, but I'd rather not say on camera.
Hindsight is 20/20, and a lot of people here said when they hear the arsonist's name, when we finally come to this day, they knew they would know them, and they did. And because they did, we said, well, do you think that they could pull something like this off? Their answer tonight at 6 o'clock. Live in Accomack County, I'm Ann McNamara, 10 on your side.
Now, since the fire started in November, Accomack County residents and people just hearing about the arsons have been talking on social media sites. And we found at least one of the suspects now in custody, Tanya Bundick, appears to have been one of the people chiming in. 10 on your side's Anita Blanton has this part of the story. Anita?
Nicole, our team has been all over this story, and that was a surprising find. Over the past 5 months, there have been multiple Facebook pages set up dedicated to the Eastern Shore arsons and the hunt for a suspect. I want to walk you through just a couple of the ones that we found. There is one that you can see. It says who would burn down Accomack County Facebook page. We want to show that to you right here. Then also there's another one we found believed to be Tanya Bundick's that also has posts about the fires. It says under her name in February she appears to engage a conversation saying, so arson nets a higher reward than murder? What is this world coming to? And then on March 18th, under the name Teacher to be Announced, there's a post with her picture that says, one would have to ask, with all the migrant houses burned, where will they stay this year? Of course, with so many people going on to social media in this day and age, it's definitely a place where people go to vent, to discuss important topics, but you have to wonder whether the people answering those questions on what appears to be Bundick's Facebook page had any idea they were talking about the arsons with the person police would soon say set the majority of them. In the newsroom, Anita Blanton, 10 on your side.